Hey everyone, this is Matthew Kent. Welcome to Theology on the Ground, another edition of Daily Thought from my quiet time. Today I was in Proverbs 24, and this verse is actually probably one of the most famous verses from the book of Proverbs. So here we go. It's Proverbs chapter 24, verses 33 and 34. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man. Now, there's several things that are interesting about these couple of verses to me. The first thing is that the imagery here is that poverty is going to come upon you, and the simile is used like a robber, and want like an armed man. So in other words, the first half was basically choices that you made: a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. And then the second part is, poverty coming upon you. And it seems like this thing where it's like, oh my gosh, this was so outside of my control. It's like getting mugged. It's like, somebody held me at gunpoint, and what else could I do? I just had to hand them my money. I really had no choice in the matter. And the way that the author of this proverb has set it up is like, no, you actually did have a choice. The choice was made beforehand. It was subtle. And then in the moment when everything is falling apart and it looks external, you're thinking, oh man, this was totally beyond my control. But really lack of planning, lack of foresight, and bad habits. And that leads me to the second observation that I had, is this area that he brings up here is an area of habit. A little sleep, a little slumber. So obviously, hopefully you don't need me to tell you this, but sleep is something that we do every single day, every day, every day, every day. And so if this becomes a continual habit, you keep just getting a little bit more sleep here, a little bit more sleep there. I don't want to get up today. I'm just going to, hit my alarm. And I'm not looking down on people for this, because this is something I've struggled with at many times in many different seasons in my life. There's been seasons where I have done awesome in this area, and there's seasons where I've done terrible in this area. But it becomes habit forming. You get into seasons, like I said, where you just say, oh, I'll hit snooze once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. And it really doesn't get your day started off on the right foot. I'm a firm believer that if you win the morning, you can win the day. And you want to get your day started off right. You don't want to spend it just having your arm going back and forth between the snooze button and under your pillow. We'll put it that way. So a couple things here. First of all, you always want to be balanced in your views. So if I'm going to tell people like, hey, you should think about setting an alarm, getting up, and going and getting stuff done, and stick to it, I should offer some, how do you know that you've gone too far, and are there ever exceptions? And it just so happens that I think I found a way scientifically, believe it or not, to tell whether or not you have a valid excuse for sleeping in. Because of course there could be valid excuses for sleeping in. Maybe you're sick, or getting sick. I think if you're sick, you're probably going to know that. But maybe you're getting sick, or maybe you have been falling behind on rest, and you sort of need a catch-up day. And so the way I do this is every morning, my alarm goes off, and my phone now has a sensor on it where you can take your pulse, and it takes maybe 5 seconds or so. So I take my pulse every single morning, and what I'm looking for is to check to see how close I am to my resting average. I've found out that my resting average is about 59 beats per minute. And so sometimes I'm at like 57, and that's great. Sometimes I'm at like 59. Sometimes I'm at like 61. If I wake up and I'm like at 67, at 80, which has happened, somewhere in the 70s, I know that maybe there's a good chance that when my body's telling me, hey, no, you're tired, don't get up today, hit snooze, sleep in. Maybe there's a good chance I should listen to it. And even if I know that I need to get up early today because I've got something to do, you can plan a day to sleep in, maybe tomorrow or over the weekend or something like that. And I first heard about this in the fitness industry. And there's a fitness coach somewhere out there who says if you're, once you get a sort of a baseline average, once you've done this enough time of taking your pulse, of what your resting pulse rate is, if you wake up and it's more than like 5 or so beats per minute faster than that, then don't do an extreme workout that day. Don't do like a max effort kind of thing. Just kind of take it easy, do some stretching, that kind of stuff. And so, I just sort of applied that to figuring out if you're getting enough sleep in general, because for him, that was, are you getting enough sleep to recover from your extreme workouts that you're presumably doing if you're following his fitness program. But for me, it's like, are you getting enough sleep in general? And so I think if you're getting enough sleep, then hey, that's that. And you wake up and your pulse is within its normal range, and time to get up and get at them, and really, you have an opportunity to get stuff done. Here we are in the morning. I woke up, took my pulse, read my Bible, came out here and shared the thoughts. So at least to some extent right now I'm practicing what I preach. I'm sure I've had a few days where I've screwed it up, but in general it's become a good habit now instead of a bad habit. And that leads me to my final thought, which doesn't actually come from the Bible. It comes from, I think we can learn wise principles like we get out of Proverbs, but just from people. And so there's a good Christian man named Zig Ziglar. I read his book, Secrets of Closing the Sale. I read the updated one where he has his son offer some thoughts. And his son offered the thought of one of the keys to success is replacing a bad habit with a good one. And so a bad habit would be getting up late. And I did a video about this. I can put a link to it below, because I think it's a really good, really helpful video. Getting up late is a bad habit. So replace that with a good one. Not just getting up early, but find something to do like reading your Bible, going on a walk, which is one of the best things you can do for your health. Seriously, it's one of the best things you can do for your health. So good, solid wisdom from the book of Proverbs. Hey, be careful that you're just not sleeping in and being lazy in the form of taking too much time for slumber. All right, those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow.